You could be forgiven for wondering why a BMW Isetta is being featured on Below the Radar, because let's face it, this titchy German is hardly an unknown car. More than 160,000 Isettas were built between 1955 and 1964, many in BMW's factory in Brighton in the UK. But this isn't an Isetta, it's that car's bigger brother, the 600, a car that's much more unusual. Just a handful were sold in the UK, partly because of the high asking price of £676 and partly because it was only ever made in left-hand drive form. Produced between 1957 and 1959, BMW made almost 35,000 copies of the 600, but despite this it's still a car that's below the radar for many enthusiasts. In Germany in the mid-50s, a massive post-war recovery was taking place and the population was no longer satisfied with transportation by microcar. The new symbol of the rising middle class was the hotly contested 600cc segment. Here, the Fiat 500 and 600, the Glass T600, the NSU Prinz and the Lloyd Alexander all fought to seduce buyers, and in 1957 BMW decided to join the fray. At the time, BMW was on the verge of bankruptcy. Its motorcycle sales had plummeted, its 503 and 507 luxury cars were unsaleable as they were far too expensive, and the Isetta bubble car, introduced in spring 1955, wasn't making any money as it was proving much harder to sell than had been predicted. The thinking behind the 600 made sense. By stretching the Isetta's chassis and fitting a detuned two-cylinder motorcycle engine in place of the Isetta's single-cylinder unit, there would be ample performance while also keeping manufacturing costs under control. The chassis was advanced with coil springs and telescopic dampers at each corner, with much more travel than that of the Isetta to improve comfort levels significantly. The BMW 600 made its debut in September 1957, and it was clearly an evolution of the Isetta, but the design had been skillfully updated by Giovanni Michelotti. The iconic folding steering column, which opened with the door, was retained, and driver ergonomics were well thought out. The large glass area made the interior bright and airy, and it provided excellent all-round visibility. As soon as the 600 appeared, it started to rack up the plaudits, with the press on both sides of the Atlantic quickly warming to it. They loved its simplicity, quality, comfort, practicality, and performance, but buyers weren't so easily swayed, and they chose instead to buy Goggomobiles, NSU Prinzes and Fiat 500s, all of which were cheaper. BMW offered 600 buyers the opportunity to accessorise their cars far more than rivals, with individual front seats available, along with a heater, automatic transmission, radio, roof rack, tow bar and much more. But all of these added cost to what was already an expensive car, and stockpiles continued to build. Although the 600 was meant to save BMW, it pushed the company further into the red. The company had borrowed 7 million Deutschmarks in the hope that 400,000 BMW 600s could be sold annually, but by the time production ended in August 1959, fewer than 35,000 examples had been made, most of them in 1958, which was the only full year of production. Of these, it's reckoned that just a dozen were sold in the UK. In desperation, BMW held talks with Ford, General Motors, Daimler-Benz and Rootes, hoping for a merger, takeover or collaboration, anything to save BMW from going to the wall. There was no interest, but then BMW's Austrian importer Wolfgang Denzel came to the rescue. He reckoned that what BMW needed was a small car with 600 running gear, but with much snappier styling, and he told BMW's management exactly that. Denzel was told to come up with a solution, and that's what he did. In July 1958, the BMW 700 was unveiled, designed by Michelotti with a monocoque body shell built by Vignali and powered by an enlarged version of the 600's air-cooled engine. Over the next 6 years, BMW would sell over 188,000 examples of the 700, which turned enough of a profit for the new class saloon to be built, the car that would put BMW on a sustainable path to success. When the motor tested a BMW 600 in 1959, it was clearly impressed, introducing the compact family car as a lightweight German mile-a-minute four-seater of exceptional compactness and operating economy. The 600 was so compact that according to the motor it was 22 inches shorter than any British-made four-wheeled four-seat car. But despite this, the BMW could genuinely accommodate 4 adults. Even better, the back seat could be folded estate car-like for added versatility. The front seat occupants climbed in via a forward-opening side-hinged door, just like the Isetta's. The back seat was accessed by a single door on the right-hand side, which meant that in the UK any rear seat occupants had to get in and out on the roadside rather than the pavement. The fundamental stumbling block for UK buyers was the high purchase price. Import taxes meant that the BMW 600 cost £50 more than the Morris Minor, while a Ford Anglia was a massive £105 cheaper. However, the BMW did promise low running costs with excellent reliability, but when the Mini arrived in 1959, that sealed the BMW's fate. The Mini packed an 848cc engine but still offered compactness, affordability, low running costs and a brilliant driving experience with impressive usability. With the Mini around, who needed a 600cc family car?